Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Self Love Society. This is the podcast for people who are on the journey of self discovery and wellness with a dash of foolishness sprinkled on top. This is a safe place to learn, laugh, and discover your own individual path. Let us start the show.
Hey guys,
Hello, everyone.
my name is Sai, aka Nkiru, the Love Guru.
And my name is Tony Gillen, licensed professional counselor. I forgot what I was at. I forgot what I was for a minute.
Welcome back to another episode of the Self Love Society.
Yeah,
I hope you guys are having a wonderful day today.
we are.
Of course,
I am somewhat. We'll see.
for real, we gonna have a good day anyway. We always have a good day when we get together and get into these dialogues, diatribes. So we're gonna start this thing off like we do each and every week. How
Yep.
you doing, T?
Man, I am holding on. I'm learning. Like last week, we talked about what are the things that are on your plate that belong to you and what belongs to other people. And so I'm being, I'm being doused in fire. I'm in the lake of fire right now.
Trial by fire.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Not the lake of fire, in the hell.
I was like, wait a minute. Doused in fire. I gotta save a friend. He going to other places.
I'm going somewhere. But I'm on trial by fire of recognizing what's mine and what's not mine. And so,
Yeah.
some things that you see on your plate and you're like, I don't know if that looked like it belonged to me, but it could belong to somebody else. And so you have to decipher.
Yeah.
And so I'm kind of there right now with some things. What else is going on with me? I'm kind of just in limbo right now.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting on the next thing to happen. But nothing's going bad. Nothing's going great. It's just kind of like,
Yeah. I get that.
Yeah. What about yourself? How you doing?
I think I'm doing pretty well this week. I think that I was tested this week with, my major problem with wanting to help everybody and wanting to pick up everything. I think I was tested quite a bit this last week, and I think I did pretty good. I ain't trying to say I got an A, but I know I passed.
Right.
You know what I mean? Strong. 78,
78%.
82. I'm in there.
82, you gotta be
I'm
right.
in there.
Okay.
I'm in there good. You know what I mean? I got a passing grade. I ain't got to repeat this class. So,
Right.
I'm happy with it. Sometimes you got to cut your losses. Be happy with what you got. But I think that it was, I found myself. The reason why I say that is because I've had situations with some of my friends and family people who are in my close inner circle with situations, and they would bring me things, and I would literally find myself going into that mode of me trying to say, oh, well, let me take it. And then in my mind, a little thought switching over and saying, why are you doing this? Why are you what you're about to do is not necessary. That's not for you to pick up. That's not for you to do. You already know where this is going to lead. If you pick it up, you're going to be disappointed.
Right.
So don't.
Yeah.
Do your portion and leave the rest for the other person to do their portion. So that's why I say, because I still kind of almost picked it up, that's why I said I got about a 78.
78, okay.
I ain't passing flank, but I passed good enough.
Yeah, you didn't fail.
I didn't fail this
go.
time. I have failed this test countless times. I can't even tell you the amount of times, and I may fail in the future. So I ain't gonna be like I'm proficient because I just said a 70, 78. That ain't always sure. It retest me.
Depending on who you talking to.
Might be a 63
some
next time.
households are straight A's. Some households is like, hey, baby, you passed.
Some things you are as straight at, you proficient at. This right here is kind of, I'm still working on it, but I was proud of myself because I was able to recognize moments in which I was experiencing the urge to do something that I knew would be detrimental to my self-care. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And to not walk into that. So I can't complain. I can't complain.
Yeah. I understand that.
Yes.
Well, we left off last week with some affirmations.
Yes, we did.
Um,
Would you like me to repeat
yes,
them?
please repeat them
So
for the
the
audience.
affirmations for last week were: I say no to what does not serve me. I say no to what does not serve me. I say no to what does not serve me. And the second one was
No, to the no, 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 hell to the no.
for real, because sometimes you gotta, this ain't for me.
I say nah.
Say nah, cuz this ain't it.
Yeah.
That ain't the move, fam. That ain't it.
Man.
And the second affirmation was, I collect emotions that edify my spirit. I collect emotions that edify my spirit. I collect emotions that edify my spirit. And then the third one was, I am covered and protected when I need to take some time away. I'm covered and protected when I need to take some time away. I'm covered and protected when I need to take some time away. Those were the affirmations for last week.
Yeah. Any of those?
All of them.
All of them.
I feel like all of them was like they was like the Power Rangers combining
like
to in order to help me get that 78% completion rate. Cause I had to say no to, like I was just saying, like me picking up stuff that does not serve me. You know what I mean? I had to say no to myself, even though I wanted to do it. I had to say no to myself in doing so. And I do have quite a few people that do call on me for advice. And sometimes you can, being an empathic individual, you can feel the energy off of a person. You can feel that they're presenting you with things that are not necessarily positive. And I did have an encounter with one of the people in my circle. It wasn't quite positive. And I had to literally walk away from the conversation because I said, you know what? This really ain't going good.
Yeah.
And this is really shifting my mindset to a place that I really don't want it to be in.
Yeah.
So let me go ahead and speak that reality into the atmosphere so this other person understands where I am and why I need to walk away from this situation. So that I collect emotions that are only edifying to my spirit. That was that moment for me to say, okay, this ain't. And I think I had to call you on that particular time. I was like, listen, help me. I think I'm going crazy. And so that was my second one. And then I'm covered and protected when I need to take some time away. Because when I do walk away from certain things, a lot of times I will do the thing where I feel guilty. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I feel like I have to, somehow, I think you were saying this. I don't think you said this on your social media, or you told me this. I don't know, but either way, this came from the licensed professional. I think you gave me this advice. Maybe you didn't, and I dreamed that you gave me this advice. I'm trying to remember, but if you didn't say this, I apologize for saying you said it. But he said I'm taking the credit anyway. But you said something to me, and you said that sometimes you have to walk away from situations that are not serving you, and you have to understand that it's okay to walk away from those situations in whatever time that it is to walk away from those situations for the betterment of yourself at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And a lot of times you go through this whole situation to where you feel guilty for choosing yourself, and then you come back and you feel like you have to apologize or overcompensate from your absence.
Oh my goodness.
Something like that. You don't remember telling me this?
I think I do.
Okay.
It spoke to me now.
Okay, so
Oh snap!
so when you speaking to yourself, I'm just regurgitating what you told me. So when you told me that, and when I dealt with that situation after speaking, I tried to reapply that to the situation, and not feel bad for walking away for myself, you know what I mean? Because that was the next immediate situation was, oh, should I have done that? You know what I mean? And I was like, no, He said, I don't have to do that. I said, he said, I don't have to feel guilty for choosing my mental health and
Right.
choose, So, yeah,
Yeah,
that
'cause
was
that's what
that was
everybody else is doing. Everyone else is choosing themselves.
for real. But you
And
know me,
yeah, people
I
like
be
us,
tripping.
we
Yeah,
tend to give ourselves maybe more than we should.
yeah.
I know this past week is funny because, well, it's not funny, but it's interesting because I've gotten calls from different friends that have just kind of been at the brink of a breakdown.
Mm, we following it. That was me. Remember?
Yeah, you were one of them.
I was.
It's just funny when I don't know, I enjoy it when I'm just talking to somebody and they're just telling me what's going on, and I'm just like, wow, like I'm always humbled by it. I'm like, man, y'all trust me to tell me this stuff,
Big facts.
and it's just I don't know. I'm always humbled by it.
He's very humble, but once again, shameless plug. We're gonna recall you guys. Last week, Tony did launch his
Launch.
he did
my private practice.
yes, his
virtual
private
at the
practice,
moment.
and that is a testament to who you are as a therapist. That people
Yeah.
trust you, and that people have that kind of confidence in who you are and the advice that you offer. So. I don't want you to step
Well, I
into
will say this.
imposter.
I don't offer advice. You all have the answers.
You're
I'm just
offering-
there walking the journey with
Yes,
you
you
to help
offer
you find it.
you offer quite a bit of helpful coping mechanisms and
Yes.
strategies.
Now with my friends, I might give a little advice.
Yeah.
May make some observations
Yeah.
of what I see.
Yeah,
But,
whether we want to hear it or not.
Yeah, but
Cause I be like,
it's times when I need that. When I'm just like, okay, this is how I feel, and someone has to say, okay, Tony, well, you're looking at it this way. Have you ever considered this?
and I be like, nah, Tony, cause I don't like that.
Yeah.
I want to do it my way,
Right.
and then be sad and cry to you later.
Right. But you definitely, when you talked about making a decision that's for you,
Yeah.
and dealing with the people making you feel guilty for it.
Yeah,
Like we could definitely talk about this at a later time, but
we can talk about it today.
well, I don't want to talk about this particular subject.
Oh, okay, we
but,
can talk about that later.
But I don't know if I've ever mentioned on this podcast, but I am a divorced father, and so going through that whole process of divorce, separation and divorce, sometimes with me, I know that I felt a lot of guilt with that
Yeah,
when it was a decision that I had to make for myself.
right.
And I won't dive too deep into it, but when you talked about making a decision that is best for your own mental health,
Yeah.
sometimes it's something that goes completely against everything that maybe you believe.
Who, child, you
or
speaking
others
now?
Maybe believed, and so it makes it that much harder, and you feel that much more guilt. But having a good support system around you, making sure that you're giving yourself positive affirmations to get through a day, and surrounding yourself with just positive energy can help you through those moments.
And I think it's important also
Yeah.
when you're making those decisions to support you, but also making those decisions because it's best for you. Because a lot of times you can make decisions. You making decisions because you're afraid of how you're gonna look or how you're gonna appear to another person or whatever the case may be. But at the end of the day, you straight up miserable, and now you faking the funk. You being this fake and phony, fraudulent individual, and you're really not helping nothing. You're not helping You're not helping yourself. You know what I mean? You can't help another person if you're not helping yourself.
When you're
So,
miserable and sick and
man,
exhausted physically and emotionally, it only is going to negatively affect the people that are around you. And so you definitely have to. Sometimes you got to save people from themselves. 'Cause
Facts.
If they suck all the energy out of you, then they're not going to get the best of you anymore.
sure not.
So, but so I'll go to okay. So for me, with that affirmation, like I said, the one about saying no to what does not serve me. That was the one that probably spoke the most to me.
Yeah,
And it's a constant reminder.
yeah,
But to go into the journal prompt of last week, the journal prompt
Yes.
was think of all the things that are on your plate, what is in your control and what is not in your control. And I definitely took a lot of time to meditate on that this week. And it's been kind of tough, especially when, like I said, when you're looking at that thing on your plate and you're like, I have no idea who this belongs to.
And how did it get here?
Yeah, how did it
Did they
get
put it
here?
on here or did I put it on here myself?
And I know other people out there probably
Man.
feel that way too.
Yeah.
And so one of the things that helped me to decipher was, okay, what can I do about it?
Yeah.
You know, and by asking myself, what can I do about it? The things that I came up with, I was like, well, that doesn't change anything. That potentially doesn't change anything. It doesn't help me move toward any direction. And so that was a deciding factor of letting me know that, okay, that is not in my control.
Yeah.
You know, and so I have to just do the best that I can and move on with it. You know, and
You know what? That statement that you just made, you want to know why that was a difficult statement for me to comprehend this week? Because of the whole notion of, I just assume that all black people grew up the same way as me. But you know how when you grew up, when you're a kid and you sit down to eat and you put stuff on your plate and your mama say, if it's on your plate, you better eat it. That whole notion of just the whole topic of what is on your plate. You know what I mean? That whole notion of, do I feel like I have to take these things on because it's on my plate, whether I put it there or my mama put it on there, you gonna eat these green beans, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, or why is it that I felt like I couldn't take things off of this plate?
wow.
You know what I mean? Like that
That's
was
insightful.
I was like, baby, something is really wrong with me. Like I was this journal prompt, I feel like had me the most stumped when I sit back and thinking about it because of that whole notion of the things that are out of my control or the things that are on my plate that I did not put there that are not in my control or not. You know how if somebody says it's out of your control, it's easy. It's out of your control. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like when I really think about those things, for me it was like, it's not that simple to just be like, it's out of my control. It's irrelevant. Throw it away, because you don't throw away stuff you put on your plate. You don't throw away. You eat everything that's on your plate because it's good for you. You know what I mean? Or you put it there. You know what I mean? And I wonder if I applied that mindset to my mental plate.
Yeah, think about all the people who grow up in families where everyone, like the mom, the grandmother, is taking care of everybody, everything.
Yep.
And think of the effect that it has on you growing up thinking that, okay, I have to be this provider for my family. I have to be the one who takes care of all the bills. I have to be the one that takes care of this family member when they get sick. I got to be the one to provide shelter for someone who's out on the street. I have to be the one who is making sure that so-and-so, everybody goes to their doctor's appointments and dentist appointments and, you know, and all the stress that brings. And it's like a continuous cycle sometimes, you know, and so taking a moment and saying, okay, what is my stuff? Because sometimes it's harder for people than others because you've been brought up your whole life thinking that is your stuff.
Yep. Everything on that plate is yours.
Yeah.
I don't care if I made the plate.
Yeah.
It's on that plate because I felt like it was good for you.
Yeah.
And then when you realize that ain't always right.
And so you have to come up with boundaries.
Bruh, like
You got to come up with boundaries and identify what's yours and what's not.
Man, you have to come up with, because people will bring you stuff, like family will bring you stuff. I have a friend who family brings a lot to their plate in particular.
Yeah.
And when that family brings the stuff to their plate and this friend creates that boundary, you know what I mean? It's always met with that family member saying, this is family. You're supposed to do this because this is what family does. You know what I mean? That opposition of, you can't, how dare you remove this off of your plate?
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's like, I don't know if that's a black thing. I don't know if that's a people thing or if that is like a problem in our community.
I think it's big in any collectivist community.
Yeah, because it's like,
because it happens in Hispanic communities.
Yeah,
it happens
you're right.
in Asian communities.
Yeah.
African American communities.
Or Bosnian.
Yeah. Where everyone is a sum of a whole.
Yeah.
So yeah, I definitely think that happens a lot. But you know, and I've worked with clients that have the pressures of their household on their backs, and they didn't ask to carry it, but they just inherited this pressure. And so yeah, and it's harder, especially when you're younger, because you don't even feel like you're an adult yet. You feel like you can't even say anything.
Man.
You know, it's adults that feel that way. They have this child complex with their parents, where as soon as they talk to their parents, they feel like a little kid all over again, where they can't speak up to them. You know, and for any reason. And so, yeah, it's definitely a process. But I think coming up with your boundaries that for yourself, as well as identifying the things that you have control over.
Yeah.
Though a daunting task, I think that alone will help move you in a positive direction.
Absolutely.
Um, so yeah, that was a pretty deep journaling prompt, but I think it was really helpful. And I hope that everybody out there has had a chance to look at the journal prompt and meditate on it themselves. Hopefully, you came up with something that really helps you. Maybe you came up with something that really helps someone else that you love that you can pass on. Either way, I'm glad that everybody took a chance to look into that.
Yeah.
And try it out.
Yeah, for real, for sure. And don't feel like just because you have a journaling prompt and we have a different one every week, that you can only visit that journaling prompt every week. Because this one in particular, I think that I might revisit multiple weeks.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it's
run it back.
Yeah, I might need to run this one a couple of times. A couple of times over. Because I feel like it's something that I really have issues in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's like that's a big one for me.
Yeah.
You know, in particular. So yeah, any journaling prompt, you have every right to go back to it. It's not just like a one and done situation. You can always revisit anything that is speaking to you personally that you might need to revisit.
So, your boy was back in the news again.
Oh, Lord, which boy, which one?
Mr. Steve Harvey.
Oh, my God.
So, the funny thing is, he was back in the news for a clip that happened years ago where he was talking about platonic relationships. And he mentioned that it's impossible for men and women to be just friends.
Oh, Steve.
Now, his thing was, a man is only a friends with a woman because a woman has made it plain and simple that their relationship is not going past that. And so the man hovers around in hopes that when that woman cracks or has a weak moment that he can just slide in.
I think that's ridiculous.
Okay.
You want to know why?
So you disagree?
I disagree because that's, first of all, that's spreading the notion that men that every woman that is around a man, that the man always wants to have something with that woman, and that a man could never ever in their mind possibly just reject that woman or put that woman in that same type of category. You know what I mean? Like when you're saying, oh, the woman has put the man in this friend zone situation and they're waiting for this. What if the man put the woman in that friend zone situation? Why is it always this one way situation? I know men who have put women in friend zones. You know what I mean? So I don't think that is a legitimate point. And for that reason and for several other reasons too. But that's my first reason. Right. I don't think that's a legitimate point.
What's the other reason?
My other reason.
You okay?
Yeah, I'm okay. My other reason is yeah.
This?
No. My little doggy over there.
What are you doing? Oh man.
Yeah.
Doggy is
having a moment.
Having a moment.
Yeah. So my other reason is I feel like it's ridiculous to say that men and women can't be friends. Me and you are friends. Mm-hmm. Me and you are friends.
Are we?
We are friends. We are business.
We're joking.
We are
jokes. Jokes.
I can't stand you. But we are friends. We are business partners. I feel like it's ridiculous to say that men and women are so driven by their loins that they can't operate any other kind of way. That's just crazy to me. Like, I can't be your friend unless we Like what? That's that. I feel like that is like very extreme. Very, very extreme.
Okay. So I will say that
Oh, here we go.
I
You agree with Mr. Harvey?
I kind of agree with him.
No, T. No.
Now let me put a disclaimer out there. In the clip, he said 99.9% of men. He believes that this accounts for that. I don't know if I'll go that high, but I feel like personally, I am a part of that 0.1% or 0.01% because, and this only comes from my upbringing, because I was a boy who grew up around women.
But a lot of black boys grew up around a lot of women
So-
in the matriarchal system.
I don't know. I had a different upbringing where the women in my family and around me were, I don't know how I can describe it, but I just always felt a comfortability around women that wasn't sexual.
Yeah.
And so, me personally, a lot of my friends are women.
Yeah.
And there's no attraction. There's no.
My brothers are the same way.
There's no wanting of the loins, if you will.
Yeah.
You know, but I will say this: I think that the majority of men out here, that applies.
My brothers are like you.
Okay.
They're like all of my brothers have female friends. Not they want to have sex with, but they're female friends. My baby brother actually, he's married. He has female friends. His best friends are females. That went through the Rockwood School District with him. He has known them his whole life. Never had a relationship with them or anything like that. And his reasoning for preferring female friends over male friends is because he feels like female friends have more to offer in a form of a balance understanding with life.
Okay.
You know what I mean? With him being a male, or like if he needs advice with his wife and things of that nature, or whatever the case may be, he feels like it's more beneficial to him to sit down and talk to another female than it would be sitting down talking to his homeboys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, but things of that nature, you know what I mean? So when I hear that, it's weird to me. Maybe it's just weird to me because I'm used to the men in my life
Probably, yeah.
having female friends. So it's just strange that that is a thing in such a high percentage.
Just in what I've seen in my life from other people, as well as relationships I've had in the past, or platonic relationships, I think that when you have a platonic relationship, and we say platonic is a man and woman, I think someone had asked a question on Facebook about why aren't men platonic? Why don't men have platonic relationship with other men? Well, platonic relationships were created. That term was created in a time where homosexuality was very taboo.
Was it really? I didn't know this. I'm learning.
And so there was no thought that there was ever going to be a man-on-man relationship because that wasn't something that was widely accepted at the time. And so it was exclusively meant to identify a man and female relationship, a non-sexual relationship. But back to what I was talking about, I think that in any kind of platonic relationship, there's always one person who is semi-interested and the other person that is not interested. And I think that once
Really?
that person that is non-interested becomes slightly interested in the other person, I think now it moves from a platonic relationship to a sexual relationship.
Automatically?
I think that it not
Like-
automatically,
like
but I
what
think that
in
it
the-
has a high chance.
What in the hyperdrive?
Only from what I've seen.
Really?
You know, I think that there are men out here who will just befriend a woman until she's weak enough and he takes advantage.
Weak enough?
I think that there are women out here who befriend men until they have an issue with their girl and they try to squeeze in.
Well, okay. So I do agree with that. That I feel like that does happen.
Yeah, and so it comes off as innocent,
Yeah.
but there's always going to be that attraction because a lot of women are attracted to men, a lot of men are attracted to women, and so you're not going to be able to really shake that instinct that's inside of you that, ooh, I'm attracted to that person. Even though we're friends, we can still be friends and still have sex. You know?
I don't. You know I'm weird, so I don't understand
Not
that.
weird.
I'm different.
You're different.
I don't even think that that's a real statement that you just made.
What, to have sex with somebody and just still be friends?
I have no understanding of that. That has never. I have no understanding of that because that has never been
Your reality.
ever. So I've never had the friends with benefits, the whole I've never done that. So I don't understand it. I don't want to. I'm not a person like Steve Harvey to say it doesn't exist because it's just not my understanding because I don't understand that.
Yeah.
So that makes no sense to me that you can just have sex with somebody and they're just your friend. That makes no sense to me.
Yeah, I normally in my life, if I've ever been intimately involved with someone, it was always under the guise of we're moving somewhere. It wasn't
Yeah.
like, oh, we're just gonna sit right here and just do that.
Yeah.
It was always like, okay, we're gonna be moving to a different direction, to a further direction. In our
Absolutely.
relationship. And so I don't necessarily agree with that either. But like I said, there are a lot of people out here
That do.
who are just okay with, hey, we can just get together and then that's it.
Right.
You know, and both on both sides of men and women. And so I agree with Steve Harvey when he talks about. I think
You
when he
always
talks
agreeing
about,
with Steve Harvey.
I don't agree with him for myself. And there was a time where I had a problem with Steve Harvey because I'm like, man, every time he talks about
There was a
men,
time I had a problem
he
with him
just
too on the
makes me-
verses.
He just, Lord, he
Still
just
mad
makes
at
me
him.
feel like I'm like, damn, like I'm not that type of guy, but he trying to make me out to be, and I had to realize that, you know what, I'm different. I've always been different, and so
right.
I don't fit in his categories he talks about, but I know a lot of men who fit in the categories that he talks about.
Yeah.
And so that way I can agree with him in certain aspects. So yeah, I don't believe that men and women can be just friends. I think that men and women can be just friends until the attraction levels meet. That's what I think.
You don't think you can be attracted to somebody and be friends with them?
Who, me personally, or you talking about in general? with
Like
people?
you don't think that that's a reality, like that could be. Like you don't think that a woman could be attracted to the man. The man could also be attracted to the woman and then they just remain friends.
No,
Why?
I just don't think that's. I don't think that's how we work as human beings.
But have you ever heard of the whole scenario of being friends first before moving into an intimate
But
or
you're still moving.
yeah, but you're being friends first. So I'm not putting emphasis on the move. I'm focusing on building the foundation of friendship.
But it's-
That's not a thing?
but
You don't
it's-
think that's a thing?
But that's different than saying we're just friends and that's it. Like there's nothing. There's never going to be anything that happens with us. We just good and that's it.
But what if that's not being said? What if none of that is being said? You're saying we're just friends because right now we're living in the now. Like, you know what I mean? Like, some people live in the now. We're not worrying about, oh, when are we going to get there? Where's my ring? Blah, blah, blah. Like, you're just a person that focuses on where you are in the moment and you enjoy the moment. You don't think that two people can do that?
You can enjoy the moment. It's kind of like if I'm attracted, say for instance, you know, a man is attracted to a woman is attracted to a man, and they say, you know what, let's just be friends first. There's still the idea that, hey, there's something that could happen from this. Whereas when you're talking about a platonic relationship, no one is thinking that it. You know, in theory, no one is supposed to be thinking about any further relationship other than just friendship. You know,
Right.
which I think is different. But if I'm attracted to you and you're attracted to me, girl, I'm waiting to see when I get a chance. And
But why is that the thing? Why can't it be that?
Because we just not built it. We're not.
Well,
wired that
I don't
way.
think that all men are.
I'm not saying all men.
But I'm saying I don't think
I don't put myself in that
99.99%
about
of them.
99. That's
He
a
was
high number.
outlandish
That's
with
a
that.
high-ass number, but
I give men more credit
maybe
than that.
If I had to give a percentage, I'll say maybe
Not that.
80,
80 for real.
80, 85.
I give it 70.
70?
I give more men. First of all, you have to realize all men don't even give a damn about women at all.
Well, we're just talking about heterosexual males.
Okay, I give you
And
75.
heterosexual women.
Still 75.
75, okay.
I don't think it's as high.
25% of us, you feel we can just have friendship
I
relationships.
honestly
with
believe
women,
that.
and it just be that.
I honestly believe that because you have to think about it. I don't think your scenario is as unique as you think it is. I think it's unique to the scope of the other 75%, but I think that there are more people. You'd be surprised. There are more people who do value friendship and foundations.
I don't believe they don't.
You know what I
I'm
mean?
just saying that I don't fit.
But
in
this
that
clown,
99%.
this clown, your favorite,
You my favorite.
he is
helped me through
friend of
some
the
times, though.
friend of the
Hey,
podcast.
Steve Harvey, friend of the podcast.
I don't
He
have
come
no
on
problem. Listen,
anytime.
his book right over here on this bookshelf. I don't got no
book?
problem with Think Like a Woman.
Oh,
It's right
snap.
on over there. You know what I mean? So I don't got no problem with Steve, but he does irk me from time to time, and I will say if he irks me, and I will say if I don't agree with him, because I think it's important to voice when you don't agree with somebody. You can like a person and not agree with everything that they say.
Look, Steve Harvey was involved in the turning point of my marriage. So I have a fondness for him, even though I don't necessarily agree with everything he says. Definitely. What was that?
She's playing. I'm sorry, y'all. All of this
All I
sound.
hear is,
My dog has her toys, and right now she is doing her thing. She's got, Lord, she's got her toys and she's playing. I'm sorry.
But yeah, so
I thought that was pretty interesting. It was an old clip, but it's always still relevant today when we talk about relationships, because relationships are just a hot button topic these days. So anytime there's any information from the past where we can sit and talk about it, I think it's great. But yeah, I don't know. I think that I've had relationships, like platonic relationships, where I thought it was just, oh, we just good, we just cool, and later find out, oh, they were really interested. And my interest just never got higher than that. And so that's why I say I think that you have to always be aware of the people you're talking about, you're dealing with. But yeah, I'll say 80. I'll say 80. I'll go up a little bit higher than yours. I'll say 80% of men are in that category that Steve Harvey talked about. What is this dog doing?
She's getting up in her toy box and pulling her toys down.
Oh, okay. Wow.
My dog is very.
My dog ain't jumping. My dog
I
is sitting
like
in line.
Laxie.
Lax
Laxie be
sits in his kennel.
relaxing.
Eat, and that's it.
Little lady be over here turned up.
You puppy.
So, but speaking of, are we done talking about Steve? One
Or
more.
you got anything else you want to add?
I already told you how I feel about
Mr. Harvey.
Mr. Harvey.
Mr. Hot Towel.
Mr. Hot Towel. Piggy, Mr. Hot Towel.
What's the name of that group they had?
The Hot Towers.
The Hot Tops?
The Hot Towers.
Is that what it was called?
Yes. This man is so. Shut up,
I
Sheree.
thought it was the Hot Tops.
No, I don't think so.
The Hot
Google it.
Towers. Hold on, let me Google it.
I think it was the Hot Towers.
What was Steve Harvey's group out there that had Ronald
I
Ivory
think
in
it was
too?
Steve Harvey and the Hot Towers.
Let's see, Steve.
Because his name was Steve Harvey in the show.
in the show, his name was Steve Hightower.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it was.
Was it? I thought it was Steve Harvey the whole time.
Steve Hightower.
It was called the Steve Harvey Show. Why was
I
his
know.
name Steve?
Singing group.
Oh my God.
Steve Hightower and the Hot Tops.
Hot Tops?
Yeah, the Hot Tops.
What was his name in the show?
Steve Hightower.
I really thought this man.
In the funk.
Here's the fan. All the people want to jam. Everybody get funky.
Oh man, I used to love that show.
That was a good show. Steady.
I always wanted a relationship like Sad and Levita.
Really?
Yeah, they just was
I
always
didn't like.
into each other.
I didn't like Sid and Levita, but I did like Overton and Sinclair. You didn't like Overton and
I
Sinclair?
wasn't a big Living Single fan.
I love Living Single. Are you crazy?
I watched it only because I didn't want to go to bed at night.
Jeez,
My mom
Living
was like,
Single.
"Well, you can stay
Living
up."
Single is.
I was waiting on New York Undercover to come on.
Have you seen it as an adult?
No.
I think you should watch Living Single again.
I know.
Y'all put in the comments if y'all want to peer pressure Tony into watching Living Singles
only
again
watch
as an
TV.
adult. It's
sit down
on.
and watch
It ain't on TV. It's on streaming, so you can watch it right on
Do I have
streaming.
to sit down and dedicate time
No,
to
you can just watch it when you're bored. Put on a different
I don't
episode.
ever get bored.
You can let it be
bored, I'm
background music while you going to sleep. Yes.
No, I just never, really, and also I was younger, and I just didn't understand it. I think I was in elementary school when Living Single was popular. Martin was funny because of his
I love
physical
Martin.
comedy. So I could watch that and follow it and just laugh. New York Undercover was pretty dope because it was like a thriller. Mm-hmm.
and I followed that.
I don't think I watched New York Undercover. I did
I
watch,
watched it all.
but I definitely did watch Law and Order. That was my jump.
Never got into Law and Order. Only cop show I ever watched was CSI Miami. Horatio Kane. That was my show. And Criminal Minds at some point.
Criminal Minds was nice too.
And then I stopped watching it. But anyways,
What's next on the docket?
So, speaking about liking a person, but not liking everything that they have to say, another person who's back in the news.
Back in the news. Who we
Dr. Umar Johnson.
Dr. Umar
Dr. Umar Johnson took a trip over to
relative of Frederick Douglass.
yes, descendant of Frederick.
Descendant of the great Frederick Douglass.
Yes, he took a trip over to the Breakfast Club and had a discussion, released a brand new book, and he released a brand new book, a sequel to a sequel to his first book, giving parents more information about how to be present for their children's diagnosis in the school and what to do, giving them sample letters to write their schools back, how to interpret IEPs and different documents that may be written up against their child, so that way that they are understanding what is going on, how to look at a lesson plan for a child and making sure that that child is getting everything that they need. I think that it's pretty dope, everything that is supposedly in this book. I'm saying supposedly because I obviously haven't read it, just came out.
Yeah, I didn't know there was a book.
Yeah, so I think it's called Black Parent Advocate or something like that. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I'm looking it up now.
Yeah.
When was this article written? This is from 2021. Yeah, so Black Parent Advocate.
Yeah, Black Parent Advocate. And that's the whole book. So I think that it's a really dope concept that he is using his degrees. He announced that he had 6 degrees, but he is using his degree. He did.
I was thinking about that Kanye West skit. He's like, my dad had so many degrees, he took my degrees. Like, oh man, degrees.
But yeah.
So this interview was rather controversial.
Did you watch the interview?
I did. I watched the full interview.
Okay, I did not watch the whole interview. I watched snippets.
Okay, so
what were some of the key points?
okay, so because Umar is going Umar, and it's just like you just wanna.
I wasn't feeling that outfit that he had on.
I mean, you can't never feel the outfit.
You
It
a
just
big
be
man. You got to keep it real simple. You can't. He got
The
all these
things that you-
colors and symbols, and it's just too much going on. You bringing more attention to your size. You got to keep it simple and
the
dark,
things that
neutral
you worried
colors.
about is the
just
outfit.
saying.
I was worried about so much more.
Okay.
Umar is gonna Umar. So obviously the fixation upon what people do in their bedrooms and things of that nature is already gonna be there. You know what I mean? He made a statement about black men having the snow bunny crisis of
Snow bunny crisis.
I
Now,
think
please
that's-
educate our listeners on what that means.
Listen, I don't know what it means. I'm just telling you what Umar said. So let's not.
Okay.
This is not Nkiru Love Guru's philosophy at all.
Okay.
But he said something along the fact of black men gravitating and feeling like they want to marry or create legacy with everything that's not black. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And I don't really think he really broke down what the crisis was, but he was saying that it is a big issue that is plaguing the black community because, when it comes to marriage, you only have 1 in 4 black women that will ever touch the concept of marriage in their lifetime.
That's crazy.
And of that 1 in 4, I think he said 50% of them will be divorced within 4 years of being married, and which is
He said 5 years.
4 or 5, maybe it
4 or
was
5 years of
5.
being married, yeah.
And so, and that's crazy, you know what I mean? Being a married, ex-married person who has been through a divorce myself, you know what I mean? That's crazy, but I have known quite a few people who are married. A lot of them divorced, you know what I
Right.
mean? So it's statistics are statistics, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And it, like they say, men lie, women lie, numbers don't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So to a certain degree, the numbers are there, and it's alarming. But at the same time, as a black woman, I would love, you know, I personally am attracted to black men. I personally would love to remarry another black man, but I wouldn't want to remarry another black man because he felt obligated to marry me because I'm black.
Okay.
So I think that's where I'm like,
So it sounds like the snow bunny crisis is just black. Is it about black men dating,
black
marrying,
black
or is it
people.
black people?
Black people, period.
Like black women too?
Yeah, because what he was saying was other portion of it. He was talking about how when women marry, they always marry up,
Yeah.
and so he was saying that even the educated women, they marry up, and he said so you have a lot of black women who marry white men or Chinese or Latino, whatever, but outside of the race. And either way it goes, I think his issue with it more so than anything was no matter who the black person is, when the legacy of what is being cultivated and created during that marriage agreement typically always goes to the other party. It goes to the other race. He did bring up Naomi Osaka. How you say it, baby name?
Is that the tennis star?
Yes, Osaka. Yeah.
Yeah.
He brought her up, and he brought up how she's representing Japan in the Olympics, and how she shouldn't have represented Japan in Olympics.
Who should she have represented?
He felt that she should have represented Haiti because her father is Haitian, and her father is the one who taught her how to play tennis.
Where did she live? Where was she from?
She's from Osaka, but from Japan.
Okay.
But he also brought up, because Envy brought up that point that she's representing Japan because she was born in Japan. You know what I mean? And he was like, well, take a white Jewish man who was born in South Africa. If he was to play in the Olympics or do something in the Olympics, what would he represent?
South Africa.
And Envy was saying that he would most definitely represent Israel because he's Jewish and because that's where his nationality is tied to.
I don't know if I believe it.
This is the conversation.
Okay.
I'm not saying you believe it. I'm saying I'm trying to fill you in.
That was his mind.
That was his point of view.
Okay.
And so he's saying, obviously Umar believes one drop of black blood, Plessy versus Ferguson, makes you black. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So obviously your allegiance should be to whatever your black genes tied to. And I understand that, and for me at first I was like, who gives a crap? You know what I mean? But then he went into this whole diatribe about why it would have been better for her to represent Haiti. And when he went into that, it made me think a little bit. You know what I mean? And you got to be able to suspend your mind about what you think about a person when they present postulates that really make you question your thought process. Because a lot of times we can go over the edge and be like, I hate this person no matter what. No, they could be Jesus reincarnate, and I still will hate this person because I hate you no matter what. You know what I mean? And so what he was saying was that her representing Haiti could have did a lot to bring attention to Haiti as a country, especially since she's such into social activism and justice and things of that nature, with Haiti suffering so much at the hands of France and Britain and all of this stuff like that. And it could have brought a lot of light to Haiti as a culture, could have helped them with their rebuilding their economic because of her platform.
Yeah.
I understand that point of view. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So, you know what I mean? It's like a thing. It's like you have to. It's with Umar, you have to balance emotions with facts with him.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. It's like, because you be emotionally pissed off about some of the stuff he say. And then some of the stuff he say be factual. So you be like,
I
well.
think sometimes people take facts.
Well, shit.
And I'm not saying I don't agree or disagree with him. I'm saying
Right.
in terms of like people like Dr. Umar who are theorists in a way, they have factual information and they can take those facts
And expound
and
them.
put them in a light to where it goes with their point.
Absolutely.
It doesn't necessarily mean that they're right.
Absolutely.
It just means that they're taking factual information and they're using it to. We talk about that in the school. What is the writing that we called it? Persuasive writing.
Persuasive essays,
Right?
yeah.
You take some facts and you add your perspective and have your facts that support your perspective.
Absolutely.
Doesn't necessarily mean you're right.
Absolutely.
The facts are right. Doesn't mean that you're right.
But I think what he is successful at doing is getting you to think.
But
And
the thing,
and question your opinions about things. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because then at that point, what I like the most about Dr. Umar is that even if you hate him, now you have to research to disprove what he's saying, because you can't just be a jerk and be like, I don't like you because your name is Dr. Umar. You know what I mean? So it forces a person to think about the stances that they have, why they think the way that they think. And once you look at the facts, you look at what is there, you look at the facts that he is citing, and you read it for yourself, you can see if your postulate still rings true or not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
I think with Dr. Umar, you have to understand that he's coming from the perspective of the advancement of black people only.
absolutely.
Not that we're better or greater than or more, but it's more so of he's Pan-African, meaning he's all about African people.
That's right.
And so everything that he talks about is only going to be for the advancement of us. And so once you understand that, then you can say, okay, he's
Put it in
coming
that
from
mind.
that perspective. But I think people like one of the hot button things, like, so I've listened to him talk. He's come to St. Louis.
I heard him when he came to St. Louis too.
The first time that he came to St. Louis.
I got his book over there too.
I got
That's
his
crazy.
book.
Almost everybody we
Took a
talking about
picture
today, I
of
got
him.
their book over there.
I took a picture with him. It was on my birthday, actually. It was my 29th birthday, I believe. 29th or 30th birthday. And I agree with some of the things he talks about. Like, I agree with, as a black man in the mental health field, I agree with his take on how black children are over medicated
Absolutely.
and aren't really taken care of in the and in the schools. They're
Misdiagnosed, yeah.
And so I don't totally understand him on that. When he talks about interracial relationships, I'm kind of both sided on that, because part of me, now I'll say, now as a black man who has black children, I would really want to just be with a black woman.
Yeah.
And so even when going out and dating, I really was only dating black women.
Yeah.
But prior to children, it wouldn't have mattered to me.
Yeah.
Because for me, I viewed marriage as, you love
Who you love.
who you love, right?
Yeah.
If you fall in love with somebody of the opposite race, then that's what it is. But I also believe that people have a hard time in dealing with that, because they do believe in love is love, and he's looking at marriage as not about love. He said marriage is not about love. Marriage is about it's a business relationship.
And it really is when you think about it, because if it was about love, you wouldn't have to go to the government to get documentation. And you wouldn't have to go to the government to get documentation.
The government wasn't involved in this, boy. Lord have mercy.
But that's how you know that it
That's
is.
what takes divorce so long, is the government involved.
Yeah, for real. And even like when you go back into history, you go back into historical times about how marriage started. It was to join nations. It was to join families together. Yeah, and build riches and build legacies and things of that nature. And that really never changed.
The love is just a byproduct.
Yeah, love is just an extra. It's a cherry on top. You know what I mean?
I don't need your love. Just throw it back on me a few times.
See, I'm not finna play with you today.
Going back to your quarters, and I'll be there to see you tonight.
That's why I was born in this era, because ain't no way.
But yeah, you know, and so I think Dr. Umar comes from that perspective, and so
Yeah.
I can agree and not agree with him at the same time, only because I agree from his perspective.
Right,
I don't agree from my perspective,
right.
but I can see why he would say that.
Yeah.
You know, but I can also see why people would be upset with that, especially if because he's gonna say some things that makes you be like, "Ooh, maybe look at myself." Mm-hmm. And people don't like looking at themselves.
No
and
one wants to
challenging
look in the
themselves.
mirror.
And so people will easily go at the person that's making them do that than they go at themselves.
Absolutely.
And so I think that has a lot to do with people not liking. And I heard people call him like he's a racist.
Yeah.
And he's against white people. Like, no, he's just for black people.
He literally said in there that he doesn't have any hate in his heart against anyone else. You know what I mean? Some people believe that that's genuine. A lot of people believe that it's not. You know what I mean? That he's saying, he's saying what he needs to say.
Malcolm X in the beginning.
You know what I mean? And so,
Like, look, it's black people.
but I think that a lot of the stuff that he talked about in this particular interview was very thought provoking in a lot of ways. Like
Right.
there was he brought up the conversation of police brutality and what we're dealing with right now.
Ooh,
Yes.
He said something on a clip that I was really like, wow.
Yeah.
I thought of it that way.
So he talked about Biden in particular, the Biden administration. And what he said was, and everything that he said was true.
True.
You can research it and it's true, but it's almost like that situation, shotgun to the face. You don't want to see it, you don't want to look at it, but now somebody's putting your face in it. You know what I mean? So he was like, day one, Biden was in office. He signed legislation to protect trans and trans rights. He said, I have no problem with that.
Yep.
I have no problem with him doing that. He said, but where I have a problem is that Biden came on The Breakfast Club, sat down with Charlamagne, DJ Envy, and Angela Yee,
Said that we wasn't
and
black.
told black people that if you don't vote for him, you're not black,
Not black.
but still haven't done anything for black people.
And also he added in about the whole Asian thing. When the Asian,
Yes. Then he said-
wasn't a mass shooting or something.
So there was a mass shooting where 8 Asian,
Where was it at? Where was it at?
I think it was in Atlanta,
Atlanta. Okay.
got
Yeah, a lot of places.
I think it was in Atlanta. I think it was in Georgia, or at Florida, one of the two. But 8 Asians were killed,
It wasn't. It wasn't Atlanta.
and that was that soundbite when the police officer said he was having a bad day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Foolishness. But anyway, so 8 Asians were murdered, and they passed a relief bill.
Stop Asian hate.
Yeah, corona.
Whole,
Yeah, and
narrative.
when he said they passed that bill, and only one person opposed it. Only one person opposed it. Passed the first time around. They didn't have to come back over and over and over again. Bill is passed.
Right.
That it's a hate crime.
Right.
But when you talk about how many bills, when he brought up how many bills have been introduced into legislation for black people,
He said 200. He said over 200.
over 200,
They
and
haven't
how
yet to pass any of them.
they haven't even passed the Emmett Till one yet.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when he says the problem is that when Barack Obama was in office, the statement was made that Barack Obama could not make legislation solely for one particular group of people because that is un-American. And here Joe Biden has done that for 2 particular groups of people within his 100 days of being in office.
They also brought up the thing about the different countries and
Yes.
how a lot of it is stemming from. So you talk about Asia, which is the largest continent? No, Africa is the largest continent, but Asia is a very huge player in our relations.
Yes.
You talk about Russia, we don't get along with Russia.
Yeah.
In China, we are trying to be buddy with China. China don't want
China
nothing to do
own
with
us pretty much.
but we're trying to
Shoot.
be in their good graces. So
Yeah.
anytime there's something that happens to a Chinese citizen, they're going to jump all over that because they want to make sure that we are in good with China.
But also he said something about China being the model, You know, I've heard that quite a few. Them being the Asian being the model minority, and how, you know, with the numbers, the birth rate numbers of Caucasians,
Decreasing the white population.
yes, and so they're trying to have ally with the Asians to keep their population, their numbers,
Yes.
and protect their white privilege. Which, you know, that's a whole mouthful there. But, you know, he went on and on about all of that. But I really found it interesting. Because we do have an issue in the black community with holding politicians accountable to the things that they say that they're going to do, or with doing anything for our community after they are elected. That is something that we have a problem with, period. No matter.
Why do you think we have this issue? What do we think that?
I think that we are very accustomed to celebrating very little, celebrating a conviction from Derek Chauvin, but not a sentence. Celebrating 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 civil rights, but not human rights. You know what I mean? We celebrate mattering, but not, you know what I mean? Like we take the very minimum of everything. Like we just be like, ooh, I matter. Matter? That's it. That I matter. Not that my life is valuable. Not that it's a crime to kill me. That just that you think that I matter. That's a celebration.
Black Lives Matter, where people be like, all lives.
Man.
Dang.
And then, you know, I forgot who said this. I don't know who said this, but I don't think it was Umar, but it was somebody else that said that they found it very strange that throughout the whole situation with the Asians, you don't hear anybody else saying stop all hate. You only hear stop Asian hate. You know what I mean? And everybody understands why we are saying that. Yeah. It's not a difficult concept to get.
They get that. Oh yeah, stop
Asian
hate.
But if you can get that, you can get Black Lives Matter. You can get it. You can get it. You're choosing not to get it. You can get it because it's the same concept. If you can understand that we are saying stop Asian hate because Asians are being persecuted right now. That's why we say stop Asian hate. That's why we say that. They're being persecuted because of the connection to COVID-19. We understand that. So they need a little bit more attention.
First time Asians been
no, it's not.
You know, too. So.
No, it's not. What was it? Swine flu? That was another one. They was messing with the Asians over that.
Yeah, even thinking further back to the World War II when they had those Asian concentration camps,
Japanese internment camps. Yes, we did.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you mean, but you know, America gets when we say stop Asian hate.
Yeah.
Like, if we say Black Lives Matter or stop killing us, police killing us. Oh no, we get all these all lives matter or blue lives matter. We get all these.
What is a blue life?
A life of a blue person.
What's that? Who's a blue person?
I don't know.
A blue life is not a thing. Your occupation is not your life.
Right. Yes.
Please stop saying that. Please stop saying that.
Yeah.
Please stop saying that. And we've discussed this on the last podcast. We know several officers, but we also understand that their lives are not blue. Yeah. Their profession is a police officer.
You only hear Blue Lives Matter when Black Lives Matter is brought up.
Right. Where was the Blue Lives Mattering when y'all had my boy trying to stop all of y'all from the insurrection? My one boy in there. Where was the black security guard? Y'all didn't give a damn about his life, or y'all was.
You talking about when they stormed the Capitol?
Yeah, with the insurrection. And then what about the Blue Lives Mattering when they actually killed the police officer? The police officer died. What about the Blue Lives Mattering? That man did not die. I'm so tired. Yeah. I'm tired of it.
Yeah, but was there anything else in the Dr. Umar interview that you found interesting that maybe wasn't shared on the hot takes?
Hot takes. Let me recall. It's an hour interview. So
y'all might have to watch it.
It was really good.
I definitely love hearing them talk. He definitely always has some very interesting things. I followed him years ago, probably 2014, when he was doing just regular lectures.
Yeah.
And I used to love the way he talked about things. I love that he was.
I like the lecturing. I
I
don't like
love
the
that-
debating on Instagram. I hate that.
Yeah, when he did the lectures, he was always very understanding and empathetic
Yeah.
to people, even though they disagree with him. He would always be kind. He'd be like, "I'm sorry, sister." He'd be like, "This is why I don't believe, don't agree with you. Just hear me out. Hear me out." And so I like that. I don't know.
He's
who he
more
is now.
like that in this interview.
Okay.
But what he
Even
does,
in the first Dr. Umar interview in Breakfast Club, he was
of
the same
course.
way.
But where I strayed away from Dr. Umar, because he go live every 5 minutes.
I've
When
never
he
seen
go,
him live.
listen, don't go on there. Don't do it.
What did he talking about? He be talking
What
foolishness on there?
today he went live. He went live today talking about some how he need 2 queens. He don't want 9 queens. He just want 2.
Oh, so I'm talking about the what are you talking about? He was talking about the Micaiah Bryant situation.
He talked about that on the Breakfast Club
But then
also.
he went to talking about he needs 2 women.
Yeah.
But he was talking about he was talking about Kevin Samuels.
Oh,
And he
I
was
didn't
talking
see
about
that.
being an alpha male and how he's like an alpha male by nature cannot be monogamous. That's what he said. And I was like, wow, really?
That's
Because an alpha male is satisfied. His desires have to be satisfied, by multiple people.
But I just feel like this is where Dr. Umar is and Steve Harvey are one and the same.
Don't throw Steve Harvey in there.
No, this is where they are one
His
and.
book now.
But this is I got both of them books over there.
Alright.
This is where both of them are one and the same.
of 'em.
When you make blanket statements for the entire male, I don't agree with that. I have issue with that. I take issue with that. And for you to use your platform and say that all men are this way, and if they're not, apparently they must be a beta man. Because only alphas, all alphas don't want to be monogamous. Like I don't know how I
think
feel
people
about
have a different
that.
definition of what an alpha male is. I don't have any clue. I personally believe that an alpha male is someone who takes care of their business.
Yes.
They have options, but they still choose to be loyal to one.
Yeah.
When it comes to women, like
Yeah.
I don't feel like that's a beta male.
I don't either.
I feel like a beta male, and it's funny because every time you hear someone say a beta male, it's always talked about as a negative, nasty thing. Like, oh, them beta males over there. It's like, dang, But I look at a beta male as probably somebody who needs
Nurturing.
They
More
need
nurturing.
nurture. They need, validation. They need.
And that's-
They're in direct need of a woman to complete.
I agree with that. So I have a philosophy to where I believe that all children are beta males.
I'm sorry. What?
All children are beta males
Okay.
and beta females.
Okay.
So like, say I have a son, I would perceive my son to be a beta male because he is learning still. He is growing into his own. He still is acquiring nurturing and things of that nature. He cannot move on his own. So some people never grow out of that. You know what I mean? And that's where you get this beta situation. You know what I mean? But a lot of but just because you start as a beta male does not mean that's who you are, and you just can never be anything different. Because I believe that all children, it don't even matter if you claim you're an alpha male now, you weren't an alpha male when you were a child. Because you was subservient to your mother.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I feel like if we understood, like we make it, like you're saying, such a negative situation, when really if we say, okay, this man is a beta male. Okay, he's a beta male. All right, let's see what nurturing he's still seeking in order for him to heal that part of himself so he can move on to the next step and feel confident enough to be the leader that he is created and crafted to be in this world. But instead of doing that, we want to be the petty of the petty and just have beta versus alpha all damn day. And it is solving nothing. You know what I mean? And I just feel like real alpha men don't even get into those types of debates because they ain't got time for that. What am I sitting up here talking about what this man is doing for? It ain't got nothing to do with my business and what I need to handle for my family. It has nothing to do with me.
I don't care what you call me.
Exactly.
I was like, oh, okay. I'm an alpha. Oh, I'm a beta. Okay. What's next? Gamma. I'm a gamma. I'm a gamma man.
Okay, school days.
Was it repping thetas?
Thetas.
I'm a theta man.
Nah, you gamma.
I'm
G5G.
I'm a G5G. Broke 5 broke. Yeah,
G5G.
but
That's where you want to be. G5G.
I thought that was just. It's funny because I've heard that conversation a lot over the last 2 years about alpha males and beta males. And
Same thing with women.
I think it matters more. Okay, I'm biased in this. I feel like that conversation matters more to men than it does women. But I guess in this day and age, being an alpha female is a thing because you have the rise of, supremely independent women.
So here's the thing. I don't agree with the current terminology of an alpha female.
And what is an alpha female?
So a lot of people claim that alpha female are aggressive and, super feminist and super, I don't need no man. I got my own,
Is
and
an alpha female?
this is what people say. I think that it's quite the opposite. I feel like that is very beta in nature because when you think about little girls, and their rebellion, because we all go through that rebellious stage in our teens. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's a very spoiled I do what I want to do type of mentality. And a lot of people who move in that I don't need nobody else, I do what I want to do type mentality, it's very childlike in my opinion. I feel that that's very beta. I don't feel that that's alpha in any sort of way. I feel that alpha women are very more in control of their emotions than that. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. I think that it's the opposite. I think that it's a very superior woman trait to be able to control your emotions and work well in a relationship with another individual. So while being independent is important or whatnot, I don't think that it is. I feel that people just pair the male traits and they don't feel that it changes from gender to gender. Okay. And go ahead.
Now I was reading something on ebony.com and it says, alpha women desire a strong masculine alpha male. However, alpha males are usually attracted to the opposite of themselves. They want a woman who embodies feminine energy.
And that's why I think that alpha women are feminine, are super feminine. Feminist. No, feminine.
They're super feminine?
I think the real alpha women.
Okay, so you flipping it.
I think that they have it backwards. I feel that because alpha, what does alpha mean?
Alpha means top of the
superior, best, superior. The best of the class. Uh-huh. So the best of the class for a man would be what they're describing an alpha man is. The best of a class for a woman, like the best woman, like the perfect woman, it wouldn't be what they're claiming an alpha is. It would be what a feminine woman is.
I guess if you look in nature, the alpha was always the most aggressive. It was always the strongest. It was always, the person that didn't take anything from nobody.
And the alpha female was always the most fertile, the most nurturing. That's the alpha female. That's the choice. That's the one that they want to choose. The one that can provide.
Think like the beehive.
The queen bee.
She had everybody.
The queen bee.
Everybody worked for her.
That's right.
And also in some species, and this is going off the rails right now. Some species.
Y'all should know by now. We're going to talk about anything.
I was looking at a documentary about this spider. I don't know the name of the spider, but basically, like during mating season, the female spider is bigger than the male spider. Uh-huh. And the male spider would try to do a little dance to get the female to mate. And if the female didn't like that spider, it would kill it.
See, anybody got time for that? So,
mating with that female spider was life or death situation.
But that's only some species.
It was just this specific species of spider, or arachnid, whatever you want to call it.
But when you talk about ecology and you talk about nurturing, I mean not nurturing, but survival, fitness and whatnot, it's based off of that. Like the woman chooses who they mate with.
True.
And because that mating is everything.
The man pursues.
The man pursues.
The male pursues.
Yeah, but that mating
The
is
woman
the reason why.
makes it happen.
Yeah, the reason why she can choose is because she has the ability to produce offspring. That mating, she has that ability, that nurturing, everything.
She has the ability to produce the male's lineage.
Right. She not choosing because she can fight like him. Do you see what I'm saying? So that is not what makes her the alpha in this situation. What makes her the alpha is because she has qualities that he doesn't have. She can offer him something to his legacy that he cannot offer himself.
Yeah.
And that's just my perspective.
You flipping it from like
that's my.
So your definition of a beta female is an alpha female, and your definition of an alpha female is a beta female.
Yep.
Okay.
That's what I honestly believe.
Okay.
But the world believes.
But not the same
opposite.
thing for alpha males.
Huh?
What about alpha males?
I feel that
like the same situation.
I feel that alpha men are the protective provider. It's what they have right now is more so better, closer to what alpha men is. You do have some people who be like alpha men are super aggressive. I don't think that all alpha men are super aggressive.
It gotta be with alpha men. It's not really about aggressiveness. It's really about being independent and not looking for.
Or Steve Harvey's 3 P's: protection, profession, and providing.
Yeah.
Being able to do those things. That's what makes you alpha, is because you can cover your family. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And what makes a woman alpha is that she can nurture the covering
There are
of
people
the
out
family.
there who believe that alpha men do not marry.
I don't believe that.
They don't believe in marriage because marriage.
You literally have been married.
No, I'm just saying.
You're literally an alpha man in more than one way.
I'm Tony.
You're an alpha man in more than one way.
I don't get involved in this conversation because I do not give a damn. But like some people believe that some men believe that marriage is only beneficial to the woman. And so a man that gets married is automatically a beta male.
I also believe that everybody who is spearheading that conversation is very beta.
Oh my goodness, I have no idea. I became an adult and learned about this stuff.
Because it's like so many people, they trying to shame people into this whole alpha beta situation. If I just tell people that they're gonna be beta if they do things that they're supposed to do.
I think it stems from a lot of hurt. I think that there are men out there who have been done wrong by women, and they, instead of taking it and saying, you know what, I'm not going to carry that on to the next person, they said, you know what, F y'all, I'm doing what I want to do. I ain't falling for no girl. I'm putting my heart, I'm tying it to a chain of bricks and throwing it in the ocean. You'll never get it again because you broke it.
People don't take time in between relationships. They jump from one relationship to the next, and they don't understand why when they jump from this one relationship to the next that they aren't healed enough to look at that person for who they are instead of your hurt. People look at people through hurt lenses.
Side note, y'all can't see this, but Nkiru is.
I have nervous tics.
She has some incense burning and like the ashes, and she's like chopping the ashes up like coke lines. I was like, "What is going on here? You
This is not. Listen, this is no different than kinetic sand.
Putting it in lines. I'm like, whoa, what is happening though?
Okay. So here's the thing. When I talk, I have a nervous tick. I got this from my mother.
Oh man!
Shout out to moms. I got this from my mom. Yeah, friend of the podcast. So like, I have to do things with my hands when I talk. Typically, I will doodle. I will doodle or draw or do something, but I like to do things with my hands when I talk. It helps me stabilize my mind and my thought process. Okay. So it's like kinetic sand. Don't let him tell you it's not no daggone coke line. Shut up, Tony. You feel my nerve.
It just looked like that. I'm like, she got it in a nice little line. But yeah, side question.
Yes. I got one more story too. Okay. Don't forget. Go ahead.
Yeah. I had thought of a different story, but we can say it.
We can do it. Listen, we still got good time. We got a couple of minutes.
So, what do you think is the better? Because we're both Michael Jackson fans.
Oh, I'm finna fight you.
What do you feel is the better album, Off the Wall or Thriller?
I can't pick. I can't pick. We have had this conversation several times before.
I just thought of this randomly earlier.
You won't know why I can't pick because every time when people say better album or whatever the case may be, I think of the other album not existing at all, and I just can't. I can't do
Well,
this.
no, they still exist. Let me see. I'm gonna pull the track list for both of them.
Oh my God.
All right.
Yeah, I love MJ. His death anniversary is coming up real soon.
Yeah, in the summertime. I think he died in July, right?
June.
I remember I was at work when I found that out. Okay. So, Off the Wall. It was this album was in 1979. Jesus, I wasn't even born yet.
That's right, but we know about it because
Don't stop till you get enough.
you can't.
Working day and night. Off the Wall. Oh, wait, let's go back. 1, 2. Rock with You. That's my favorite Michael Jackson song of all time.
Listen, don't stop when you get in it.
3,
Don't stop
Working
when
Day
you.
and Night. 4, Get on the Floor. I don't think I ever heard that one.
Nope.
5, Off the Wall. 6, Girlfriend. 7, She's Out of My Life. 8, I Can't Help It. 9, It's the Falling in Love. And 10, Burn This Disco Out. Solid songs, right? Mm-hmm. So then we go to Thriller.
I think I'm going to end up picking Thriller.
As I'm looking at the list, I might pick Thriller myself. Wanna Be Starting Something. Baby Be Mine.
Baby,
The Girl Is Mine.
Girl Is Mine.
Thriller. Beat It. Billie Jean. Human Nature. PYT. Lady of My Life.
It's got to be Thriller. Because you
It's
can't,
Thriller.
there's no skips there.
There is no
skips.
Because I'm looking at Off the Wall and I'm like, well, I ain't never heard Get on the Floor. Girlfriend, I don't know if I've ever heard that one. If I did, I don't remember it. She's Out of My Life wasn't really my biggest song of his. I Can't Help It, I like that. It's the Falling in Love's cool. Burn This Disco Out,
Rock With You is
Rock with You is the crown jewel of this
that
album.
Rock With You is so good.
That Working Day and Night.
Close your eyes.
Yeah, that's my jam.
Listen, you can't. Rock With You is such a good song.
And it's such a basic video.
It's such a bop.
Amazing.
It's such a bop. Feel
I love it, but yeah, Thriller.
We can ride
Jesus,
the
this is amazing. So this is an amazing album. Yeah, I don't even know why I even brought this question up.
Thriller is good, man.
I never really looked at the album. I never looked at the albums.
Yeah,
I just knew the song. I
yeah,
know what album they were on.
Like what's the one where he's got Leave Me Alone?
That's the Dangerous album, right?
What's the one that he got Remember the Time on?
Oh, that's I feel like that's Dangerous. Hold on, let me see.
Do you see what I'm saying?
I think that's Dangerous because it's the one. Don't stop, leave me alone. Leave me Because he was on a roller coaster. Okay, so the Dangerous album, Jam. Why you want to trip on me?
Why you want to trip on me?
Why you want to trip on you? Me.
I feel like I know this.
In
song.
the Closet. Okay, I need to go back and listen to this album. What was he talking about? She Drives Me Wild. Remember the Time. Can't Let Her Get Away. Heal the World. Beautiful song.
Listen.
Black and White.
Listen.
Who Is It? Give In to Me. Will You Be There? Keep the Faith. Gone Too Soon and Dangerous. Yeah,
that
I don't
ain't
know.
The album with Leave Me Alone on it.
Leave Me Alone. Huh? Well, I thought that was a Dangerous album because I remember the roller coaster on the video. Is the name of the song "Leave Me Alone"?
Yep. Leave me alone,
Okay,
girl.
Hold on. Leave Me Alone.
Leave me alone.
Leave Me Alone.
Leave me
By
alone.
Michael Jackson. Here we go.
Just stop it. Just stop
Yeah, I see the
following
video
me
there.
around.
It was on the Bad album.
Yeah, that was a good album too.
Ooh, hold on. See, I'm going on a whole Michael Jackson Bad album.
I'm bad, you know it.
Was that on that album too?
Yep.
Yeah,
Oh,
Bad was
well,
number 1. The Way You Make Me Feel.
Way you made me
Speed
feel.
Demon, Liberian Girl.
Yes.
Just Good Friends, Another Part of Me, Man in the Mirror.
Yes.
I Just Can't Stop Loving You. I love that song.
Yep.
I just can't stop.
I love Man in the Mirror.
You. Dirty Diana.
Oh.
Smooth Criminal. Leave Me Alone.
Yep.
Streetwalker.
Street Rocker was good too. That was a good album too.
This is why Michael Jackson is the most amazing artist of all time.
That's why I said I'm not picking.
It's so many great albums.
He didn't miss.
This was in 1987.
I know.
Jeez.
Just stop it.
Man, amazing. So what's your next topic?
So the next topic, I'm finna puzzle everybody on here.
Puzzle me.
O.J. Simpson
Okay.
and Donald Trump
All right.
tag team versus Boosie, Badass, and LeBron James. How does this pair together, you ask?
And Trump. You said Boosie and who else?
Boosie, Badass, and LeBron James.
Oh man.
You want to guess before I give it to you?
Go for it.
You want?
Nope, I don't want to guess.
You only want to
I have
guess?
No idea.
Okay, so this LeBron James is under fire for tweeting out your next accountability with a picture of the officer that killed Ma'Khia Bryant.
I thought it was the female officer that killed
No.
Dante.
He did that too, but he texted.
Okay.
This is recent, so he texts your next and put that out.
Yeah.
And hashtag accountability.
Accountability.
Okay. So then Donald Trump, and we all know Donald Trump is banned off of everything, even Pinterest, damn it.
Really?
He
Why
is-
he been so quiet?
They banned him
Banned him.
off of everything. He
Like not no suspension for
like
30 days.
he's not even on
He's banned. Like
he's not
never
even on
again.
he can't even get on Google. Email. Like he's banned off Pinterest. He can't even pen
What's
nothing.
he doing with his life now?
So apparently he's creating his own app.
Okay.
But he is not going to stop Donald Trump for saying what the hell he want to say. Because Donald Trump put out a memo on his presidential letterhead scolding LeBron James about speaking about the situation, telling LeBron James that he should not speak on matters that he has no understanding. Pretty much. So here
When Donald Trump get back out here and can tweet and can say stuff again, it's gonna be like when somebody like their favorite rapper retired and they came back with a new album. Like, oh snap! I'm about to get that. Like everybody gonna be waiting to hear what Donald Trump got to say.
When they said Donald Trump, I said, how? Like, you sent the telegram. Like, you sent the telegram just to be messy once again. And so Donald Trump said what he said.
You said what I said.
And then O.J. Simpson
OJ.
made a video on Twitter and doubled down behind Donald Trump for a certain and said O.J. Simpson pretty much told LeBron James that he should have waited before speaking up about social justices until you know more about the situation. And he
Not
said,
bad information.
well, you have to understand this did happen in Ohio, and we all
Yes.
understand being from St. Louis, if anybody gets shot, poor Nelly can't have his life. Where's Nelly? Nelly should be here saving St. Louis, you know. So you know how they do LeBron James when anything has to do with Ohio. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So he would have been damned if he did and damned if he didn't.
Yep.
Let's just be real.
Pretty much.
So O.J. Simpson goes on this rant about how LeBron James should he goes, I love the brother.
I love the brother.
But, you know, he probably should have just stayed out of this, you know. I understand, I love what he's doing, social activism, blah, 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 blah. But he should have, you know, I think he got this one wrong. He should have stayed out of it, blah, 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 whatnot. So then another banned individual, Boosie Badass, because, you know, he is banned.
banned?
He is banned off of Instagram.
Really? For what?
For his infamous lives where he has asked several women to show him their titties for
He wanted to show the titties.
for money, and
Oh man.
he got banned off Instagram
They was
sometime
doing it
last
too,
year.
right?
Of course. So this happened sometime last year, whatever the case may be. He got banned off Instagram. So another banned individual has spoke out, and this time in response to LeBron James. I mean, in defense of LeBron James. So basically, he scolded O.J. Simpson and told O.J. Simpson he needs to shut the hell up, and that how dare he say anything about LeBron wanting to speak out for his people when O.J. Simpson should be in the forefront of speaking out for his people because it was a black lawyer that got him off. It was a black. It was the black community that stood behind him, and he should be the last person speaking about anything when it comes to somebody stabbing anybody with a knife. So there's that.
Side note, Boosie be talking a lot, but he wasn't talking on that hot box.
Nah.
With Mike Tyson. Every time I hear Boosie on the getting ant with people, I be like, you didn't have the energy with Mike Tyson. Calm your ass down.
Boosie basically said, basically kind of low key threatened OJ. And so OJ kind of backed down a little bit, and yeah, so just mess in the
social media
but it made me think about the overarching topic of today's podcast, black males' opinions.
The black male opinion.
You know what I mean? There was 3 different black male opinions in this situation, and all 3 of them were censored in one way or another. Boosie was censored from Instagram. He was banned from Instagram for being Boosie. LeBron was censored by OJ as well as by Donald Trump.
Did he take some of his stuff down?
He did take the tweet down.
Yeah.
He took it down because of that, because he said that Donald Trump was basically trying to incite race and what is the word? Racism and race baiting with his tweet, and that wasn't the intention. He was speaking on the system as a whole. It has nothing to do with race in particular. So the fact that he has to, but this goes to my whole conversation of the black voice and the censorship of black voice. What is your opinion on that, being a black man?
I think that,
and you feel free to comment on the ridiculous story.
I really don't have no comment on the story. Honestly, I think that when we talk about the isms that exist in this country, you have to always keep in mind sexism. So you definitely have an issue between men and women, and men being the dominant sex in America, and also you talk about black and white. You talk about racism, and so when you are a black man, you're in a very weird position because in some area you have privilege, in the other area you don't. And so when you are a black man, you have to really worry about what you say.
Really?
Because if you are a man, you can't come off as dismissive to women or
misogynistic.
You can't come off misogynistic. And when you're black, they don't even want to hear your voice anyway. And so you have to make sure when you talk that you have all your facts straight. You want to make sure you're not stepping on anyone's toes because they are looking for a reason to silence you.
I hate that though, because I think the black male voice is so important. I feel like it's a voice that is very policed.
Yeah. In a multitude of issues.
And especially it brings me back to one of my favorite NFL players, Marshawn Lynch, and how he was in the height of his, like the whole, you speak when I want you to speak. You talk. You come to the stage and have conversations when I want you to have conversations. Like the whole puppeting. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like especially if you have any sort of platform, I feel that it's always a big deal about they want you to speak, but they don't. They want you to speak, but they don't want you to speak.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
You to say what makes them feel good.
Yeah, they want you to validate something. You know what I mean? And I hate that. I hate that it's always a game. You see it a lot with athletes. You see it a lot with musicians. You know what I mean? It's always this, let me back you into this corner, ask you a tough question and see how you respond to it. And based off of how you respond to it, that may be how you genuinely feel about it. You're going to be, your livelihood is going to be
something controversial because that's what makes me money. That's what gets my
yeah.
name out there.
And so like being
what happens to you,
right? Being a provider, you know what I mean. The man being a provider, I don't know because I'm not a man, but I presume that it becomes a juggling act that you have in your head. Do I stand up for what I believe in, or do I walk the tight line to make sure that I don't lose my sponsors, I don't lose my livelihood or
Yeah.
anything of that nature?
You don't
And I
have
think
the,
that
you
is,
don't, you don't get the luxury of being emotional.
yeah, I feel like black women, we have a little more luxury on that. We don't have as
Slightly,
much,
yeah.
slightly, but I feel like that's our privilege a little when it comes to speaking out about certain things. When you think about social justice and things of that nature, black women don't nearly get catch as much flack, who are on the main stage of, whether it's acting or music or athletics, when they speak out on social justice issues. Think about Naomi Osaka. She wore a mask with a black slain person every day when she was competing. Think about Issa Rae, when they asked her, when people were boycotting the Grammys and the Oscar, and they asked her who she was going for, and she said, "I'm rooting for everyone that's black." No one bashed her or took her sponsors or anything like that.
Chris Rock had a good bit about that. Where
Did he?
said, the more privilege you have, the less shit you can talk.
Yeah.
He's like, the less privilege you have, the more shit you can say. So if you want to say more shit, you got to get rid of some of your shit. He's like, if you fat, if you skinny, he's like, what he say? He said, if you skinny, you can't talk about fat people.
Yeah.
Fat people can talk about skinny people all day.
Yeah.
He was like, he said, a skinny person call a fat girl fat.
Then
That's
it's
just
body
mean. But a fat girl can call her a skinny bitch and all this stuff, and they just laugh at it.
Yeah,
And so it depends on your privilege.
that's true.
And so as a man, you have privilege, but as a black man, you don't have it. And so that's why it's different. But for a woman, you're already a part of the less privileged group.
Yeah,
and as a black woman, you're part of the less privileged
Yeah, we
group.
have two strikes against
So
us.
you can say essentially you can say whatever you want in a way.
And I think that was something for me looking at these stories that I didn't. You know how sometimes you don't realize your privilege?
Yeah.
I didn't realize that as a
Well,
privilege.
it's kind of shifting now. 'Cause
Yeah.
Back in the day, you couldn't do that.
Right,
But think
right,
about
of course.
Angela Rye.
But when you think about social activism and everything that's going on, majority of people who are leading the cause are black women.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And a lot of why that is really because of our privilege.
Yeah.
We have the privilege to say what we want to say, do what we want to do, and our livelihoods are not affected by it. You know what I mean? Or if they are affected by it, it's not going to be to the detriment of what it would be for a black man. But if a black man says anything, any one sentence or whatever the case may be, you're talking about their whole situation being you don't think about that. I think a lot of people don't take that perspective and really look at that. You know what I mean? And when they're saying, why don't you have a lot of black people, black men speaking on social issues? Because think about another example, Kaepernick. That man lost his whole livelihood for standing up for social justice.
Right. Police brutality.
But how many female athletes did the same things? You have the WNBA who literally set out games and did all of this stuff. But LeBron says one thing, and it's
they're looking for a reason to
you
get
know what I
LeBron.
mean? And
LeBron so far has had no issues.
yeah.
Ain't no cheating scandals.
Well, it's because he's an alpha man. But I digress.
What that mean?
Remember you were saying that Umar said the alpha man had to have multiple women, and I said that wasn't true.
Yeah.
And this is why I feel like it's not true. I feel that he's an alpha man, and he takes.
At least.
I don't think LeBron is. Nah.
I don't know. I don't know the guy. I would hope so. He seemed like a great family man, whatever. But I think that people are looking for, and he has so much power in the NBA. He's a huge figure. He's an ambassador. He's a global ambassador for the NBA. He's the most recognizable face in the world.
Yeah.
They're looking for a reason to get him out of there.
But they always.
He controls where he goes, how much money he makes. He's talking about owning teams.
But that's no different than any other black man. But that's what we're talking about, building legacy and building infrastructure for our community. Like Umar was talking about, that's what a black man does.
Yeah, the black man is definitely the
cultivator,
the most important
piece
of black economic
Yes.
Success.
And then the black woman is the most important piece to economic sustainment.
Sustainment, yeah. And so if you can get rid of the black man,
Then
if we can silence us,
there's nothing to sustain.
what can we really do?
I never really paid attention to that until I really looked at that situation, because even when Boosie was checking OJ, he was very limited. Well, he's Boosie, so he's limited with his words anyway. But he was he was very careful about what he was saying. Like he kept saying, "You wrong. You know you wrong." And you wrong. And the reason why I felt like he was very careful of what he said is because we know Boosie. Boosie ain't never careful about what he's saying.
Nope.
Boosie gonna Boosie.
Boosie, friend of the podcast.
That's right. Boosie gonna Boosie. Just like Steve gonna Steve and Umar gonna Umar. Boosie gonna Boosie.
Yeah.
Okay.
Boosie still wasn't talking like that with Mike Tyson, but I still love you. I still would love to meet you and talk to you one day, but you wasn't talking like that to Mike.
So with that being said, it's just like, I feel like, I don't know. Do you feel like you have to walk on eggshells about certain things, or do you feel a freedom of speaking your mind about?
Of course, I have to walk on eggshells. I can't say. I mean, honestly,
say you were catapulted to the level of a Dr. Phil. You had a show, or like you were Steve Harvey or something like that. Would you feel?
Tony Gillen talk show.
Yeah. Do you feel like your freedom that you have right now would alter any?
Okay, so personally, I don't believe so, because, I mean, I don't feel like I say much that's controversial. I think a lot of stuff that I might say is common knowledge. But who knows if I was put in a position where I was speaking to
Because that's when they put you in the middle of stuff.
Yeah, then it's like, okay, now you really got to be careful with your words, because now people are waiting to write think pieces about you and get you out of here.
Yeah.
And so I can imagine being very careful with my words, but I don't know.
I was just very curious about the male opinion, and because I don't,
especially this day and age when you talk about like the LGBTQ community.
Yes.
You have to be very, and then I'm also a man who identifies with Christianity.
Yeah.
And so I really have to be careful. If I was to be out in a major spotlight, I really have to be careful about things that I say, because, that could cause me harm, my family harm.
Yeah.
Me to lose everything. And so,
Absolutely. I would like to highlight a different podcast that I watch quite a bit, and it is called I Am Athlete. And I think that this particular podcast is very dope because it has Brandon Marshall on there. He's kind of like, yeah, it's got Chad Ochocinco, Brandon Marshall. Names is escaping me right now. It's got quite a few of them on.
Is it Channing Crowder?
Channing Crowder.
Yeah.
And who's my other boy? Who's my other boy? Not boy, man.
The other one, I don't know who that is.
Oh, you know him. Oh, what's his name?
I know Chad Ochocinco, Brandon Marshall, Channing Crowder, and there's another guy.
Yeah.
Who he is?
They call him the uncle.
He looks like Fred Taylor.
Fred. Yep, that's his name.
Fred Taylor?
That's Fred Taylor. Yes.
Heck no.
Yes, that's Fred Taylor. Thank you. It was gonna kill me. So
I ain't seen Fred Taylor.
yes, Fred Taylor is, and it's a very diverse.
He was a dope running back.
Listen. Love the show.
Yeah.
But
What happened to him?
I remember watching the show, and I'm trying to figure out which episode it was. Give me 1 second, I'll tell you exactly what episode it was. It was the episode that had let's see. It had what's his name from the Texans?
What position he play?
God, help me recall information.
Only person
Right here. I know it's killing me.
Something Williams, I believe.
Hold on, I have it for you. 1 second. So, I'm sorry, guys. Give us one moment. Andre Johnson. Andre Johnson. So on this episode that he had with Andre Johnson, if you guys are interested, it's on YouTube. It's called "Every Family Has a Feud. This is Ours," and it's the episode with Andre Johnson. And Andre Johnson he talked about his voice and his ability to speak out about certain things and stuff like that because and one thing that he brought up about this particular show is about how the world is different now for athletes because back in the day, they didn't have a platform like I Am Athlete where they can go and say how they feel and feel comfortable saying how they feel without detriment, you know what I mean? Because once you with the sports analysts and all of that kind of stuff, you don't know what kind of spin they're gonna put on things or whatever the case may be. And I thought that was just lately. I've been listening to quite a few black men expressing that sentiment that there aren't a lot of spaces for black men to really express themselves authentically without being judged or treated differently, and it made me really sad thinking about that. And it also makes a lot of sense why you have a lot of men who don't express much emotion or converse, even though conversate is not in the dictionary too, converse about a lot of things beyond one or two sentences. They don't really expand upon their thought processes of a lot of things because they don't feel safe in certain settings talking about certain things.
Yeah, that's a whole deeper issue. that's for a different podcast. But yeah, I could agree with a lot of those things. I have to watch the episode because I haven't really watched any. I just seen clips.
Let me tell you something. You're gonna be addicted. It's so good. I watch it all the time.
Yeah, I just have a hard time watching stuff. I don't be having time like that.
The conversation is so organic and good.
It's great.
It's for real.
I had to sit down and actually watch television sometimes.
You don't have to watch it. You can let it play.
But I like when I sit down and watch it, I like to be in tune with it because I want to learn. But I just don't have the focus to do that.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying.
So if I happen to sit down and watch something, normally I'm watching something that's mindless.
Oh wow.
So I'm watching like a sports talk. I can hear that as I'm
or a cartoon.
Not a cartoon. See, I haven't watched cartoons.
I love cartoons. Cartoon.
Well,
we are approaching the end of this podcast, but we definitely will not do so without giving you guys a journal prompt and some affirmations for this week.
All right. So you go first? Okay.
It don't matter.
So the journal prompt this week is, today we talked a little bit about just accountability and being mindful of things you say. And it brought up this idea for me of, like, what are some examples that we are setting for our youth?
Legacy.
Think about, our legacy. What type of example are we setting for them in our relationships, our friendships, career, accountability, responsibility? What are some things that your life is showing the youth? Because whether you intend to teach them or not, they're watching.
Those little sponges.
Learning. Yeah, and so take a look at your life and say, what are you teaching the youth based on how you're living your life? And be honest. It's okay. We all have areas that we fall short in, and we all have areas that we can improve in. And so this is a time for us to just be vulnerable with ourselves so that we can grow. So once again, that journal prompt is, what examples are you setting for the youth?
Yes. I like that. That's going to be a good one.
I know, can't wait.
Okay, so this week's affirmations are as follows. Affirmations. Wearing bird. 1, I am improving daily with each personal revision. I am improving daily with each personal revision. I am improving daily with each personal revision.
Revision.
Yeah, like how you revise yourself. Update, upgrade.
Why is it saying my word is wrong? REVIS. Oh, it's a period. That's why I spelled it right. Go ahead.
Next, I will do the work needed for my self healing. I will do the work needed for my self healing. I will do the work needed for my self healing.
Yeah.
And lastly, I discover every positive trait I possess. I discover every positive trait I possess. I discover every positive trait that I possess. And those are your affirmations for this week.
All right. Okay. Well,
Well,
that was
that was a
it was a good show. Good show.
Yeah.
Glad that you all tuned in today.
Glad you guys stuck around with us. It was a long one today.
We, if you all have noticed, we've kind of shifted to, we kind of just freestyle.
More free flowing, more of a less
last
tense.
season we had a whole agenda, and now I like the fact that we can just sit and talk about stuff.
Because sometimes that's all you need.
Yeah. There's a lot of pressure trying to come up with a script.
For real.
I think that we can find some self-love in anything that we talk about.
Absolutely.
So it allows us to kind of be more free with our opinions and our mindsets and things that have happened in the world. So thank you all for sticking with us and
Yes.
listening and giving us feedback. We definitely appreciate it.
Hugs and love.
Hugs and love.
Peace, love, and light.
There we go.
See ya next time.
All right. Have a good one, guys.
Bye.